December 2018, CROSSFIRE Stars begins a new fight. CFS 2018 will gather 24 top teams from 11 regions around the world in Taitung and Nanjing, China for Project S. December 4th to 6th, the group stage matches, the tournament stage quarterfinals, and semifinals will take place in Taitung. December the 8th, event matches for CROSSFIRE HD featuring top teams will be awaiting in Nanjing. December the 9th, the CROSSFIRE Legends tournament along with the CROSSFIRE final matches will determine the CFS 2018 World Champions. Guns are locked and loaded, and players are ready for an intense clash. CROSSFIRE Stars 2018, together in Taitung and Nanjing, China. Together, roaring with enthusiasm inside the arena of battle. Together, making history to become the true legend of CROSSFIRE.
This is our, I think, my 12th time here in China.
Well, our team has been to China 3 times in the past year.
Наша команда была больше, чем 7 раз в Китае.
Feels so good to come back here again.
Практиковались, играли и чувствуем себя более уверенно, чем обычно.
I would say in the groups, we're looking most forward to playing Are You Legends?
Que este año estamos más fuertes que nunca.
Our main goal here in the tournament is to become the champion and bring the title to the Philippines.
I like duck.
Rice of chicken.
My favorite Chinese food is wanmenji.
Hot pot.
Our favorite food is hot pot.
Yeah, those chicken noodles.
Tiongkok CFS 2018.
CFS 2018.
We're coming!
CFS 2018, wir sind hier.
CFS 2018.
CFS 2018.
We are coming.
CFS 2018. Estamos chegando.
Jaio! CFS 2018, estamos chegando!
CROSSFIRE Stars, мы идем. CFS 2018, vamos!
我是中国赛区的选手林肯，我在队伍里面担任的角色是断后和辅助。全火线这个项目打职业已经打了8年了。
Hi, I'm Kart from execution team from the Philippines. I'm the captain of the execution and I've been playing for 8 years in CROSSFIRE.
Nama saya Hamzah, saya berasal dari Indonesia. Posisi saya di tim sebagai leader di tim. Saya bermain CROSSFIRE profesional dari tahun 2013.
I play CROSSFIRE because a lot of people in the Philippines playing CROSSFIRE. So when I see the CROSSFIRE and I hook the playing for CROSSFIRE and I play.
Awalnya saya bermain CROSSFIRE itu mencoba untuk bermain game baru dari game saya yang sebelumnya. Bermain CROSSFIRE itu saya bercoba untuk berkompetisi dan sampai sekarang saya akhirnya bermain dengan berprestasi seperti ini.
最开始是在家里面嘛，然后传火线内测的时候，我有一些好的哥们儿和同学在玩，通过他们在玩这个游戏，然后我才开始知道这个游戏，然后我才跟他们一起玩的。
I think it changed my life because when you win in every tournament of CROSSFIRE, you have money. So I think it changed my life. CROSSFIRE changed my life.
Saya merasa mungkin lebih banyak teman di permainan ini. Saya lebih merasakan bekerja bersama-sama dengan teman juga. Bagaimana menjadi tim yang lebih baik.
信任嘛，这款游戏是一款团队游戏，然后我们5个人在团队里面扮演着各种角色嘛。这个团队一起去参加比赛，必须要5个人相互信任，然后这样的话才能就是说比赛才可以胜利。包括现实里面5个人生活在一起，有很多细节啊，要互相包容队友啊，或者说他们来包容我的一些不好的一点。所以说，我觉得这个游戏，让我学会了特别多的东西。我在传火线里面打了这么多年嘛，然后从一个小孩儿打到现在也26、27岁了嘛。我衷心的希望这款游戏越来越好，我们大家越来越好。
Mungkin di tahun-tahun berikutnya turnamen seperti CFS ini lebih diperbanyak mungkin karena di Indonesia sendiri turnamen sebesar ini hanya 1 tahun 1 kali seperti itu. Mungkin bisa ditambahkan.
I think for me, CROSSFIRE is, thank you CROSSFIRE, because CROSSFIRE changed my life.
Hello and welcome back. It's day number 1 here at CFS 2018. We are live from Taichung in China in the VSPN studios. We're about halfway through the day, gents. This is your last match that you're going to be joining us for. And it's going to be an interesting game. It's Carbon up against Boss. Both of these teams coming in with a lot at stake, as with all the teams. But I feel like both these teams, this is their time to shine. 2018, I feel like potentially one of these teams' years.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a potentially pretty bold statement.
It depends on thrown out there right now.
It depends on what you mean by that. But I don't think that either of these teams are who we would necessarily expect to be winning the entire tournament, so to speak. But I think there's a reasonable argument that you could make that they'll make it out of the group or potentially make it through into the semi-finals or something like that. At least for maybe Carbon, I think, in this respect, at least. Definitely an interesting match. We haven't seen Boss from last year, at least. We didn't get to see them. They were at Manila, if you do remember, Ben, and
back
had
in
a
the
reasonable
day.
Performance there. Yeah. But for me, I think coming into this match, I'm really looking at Carbon to be the one that should have a strong performance. They're the ones that we saw last year, exceeding our expectations, and hopefully they're going to be able to build on that this year.
Yeah, they took SV right to the end, so I mean, I would be expecting Carbon to come out on top on this one, but you got to see, like, Ava team kind of struggled a little bit, so if the Boss guys aren't as good as them, then the question is...
look, but are they
where
not
does
as
it
good as them? I
transfer?
understand why we say they're not, but you know, we have to wait and see how. We have to let Boss write their own script, I suppose, and see how they go today in this matchup. Talk to me. How does STDX transfer across to Carbon, Jordan?
Oh, it's more or less the same team. They have made the one roster change, but aside from that, you've got the core 4 coming through. So it's, you know, obviously one roster change. It's a minor thing, I think, but given what we've heard around the place, it seems like it's an upgrade. Seems like it's definitely an advantage here for Carbon, bringing in Kais, who is supposed to be the new sniper for this roster.
Right.
And I think that works pretty nicely with these guys. They obviously they had some good performances last year, but I think maybe there was just that little bit of extra pizzazz maybe that was missing for them.
I'm trying to think, was Famous X the sniper before?
He was. I don't think he was necessarily the dedicated
just
sniper.
Picked it up when needed.
But he definitely did use the sniper quite a lot. And actually, I do remember the one map that they did really well on against SV. He was destroying people with the sniper. So.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. But anyway, I mean, that's all good and said, but look, Carbon up against Boss. I mean, we're talking about the number 2 team in Vietnam up against the number 1 team in North America.
Yeah.
I mean, the North American region, we've got to say, they must be pretty strong, right? I mean, if they're coming up against Super Valiant and putting in a pretty good show.
Well, that's it, right? It's easy for some games to say North America's great at this, but they're pretty average at others.
Yeah.
But I think seeing them go head-to-head when it was Set to Destroy X up against Super Valiant last year, very impressive. Honestly, I think even, like, everyone goes into a game wanting to win, saying, hey, we can do this. But whilst they fell short in the end, it surely exceeded expectations.
No one expected them to be that good. I mean, everyone was saying STDX are pretty good. They're pretty good. We'll put them on the same level as maybe a Flipside or a Black Dragon. But there was no, they can really push a Chinese team to the edge. And that's really what they did. And like I said to Jordan earlier on in the show, it came down to just 1 or 2 decisions. The whole best of 3.
Yep.
And so really they had to pat themselves on the back. They're coming in with an upgraded roster with a dedicated sniper. They're definitely going to be a team to watch out for.
Does it feel like an upgrade for you, Jordan? Obviously, Ian's very much about the idea that any roster change is a good one. Do you agree in this scenario?
I think so. In this case, from what we've been hearing at least about Kais, he does seem to be a bit of a superstar coming into this roster. So we'll have a lot of eyes onto him, of course. I think obviously the majority of the strength from Carbon is going to come from the 4-player core that they do come through from STDX. I was hugely impressed by Famous last year. I thought he was phenomenal for this roster. So I really want to keep an eye on him as well.
That's Winnie's waving away his fans here in China.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They love Famous over here.
They do. They do. And with the good reason as well. He's a really exciting player to watch.
Didn't he come over here and play a season?
He was in Pro League. Yeah, he did. So, yeah, a lot of experience across this lineup. What about Boss? And we chat about them. Vietnam, such a strong region for CROSSFIRE. Ava team maybe underrepresenting this morning. Is this now Boss's opportunity to step up and say, hey, look, maybe Ava team didn't do what we wanted them to do, but we can do this for our region?
Yeah, I definitely think that they can. I mean, Boss is the team that has beaten Ava team in the past. They've won CFEL Season 1 and 2 in Vietnam, so that kind of goes and says they may be the best team in Vietnam. We're obviously taking a lot of stock in the result of last year's CFS Grand Finals when we say every team is the best.
A lot can change in a year.
A lot can
That's
change
what
in
we
a
keep
year.
saying. So, and this is the big one, right? Let's not forget, let's not joke around. This is the one that everyone will go, look, I don't mind losing every other comp this year as long as I can win this one.
I'll win the one that's worth $500,000.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. What more can you want, really?
Well, you could probably want $500,000 on a regular basis, but
I'll take one every 12 months, please.
Yeah,
12 months is regular enough.
Yeah.
They also played in CFGI last year, came third there. So, again, not a bad performance out from Boss. All in all, I don't think that this is a terrible squad. I don't think I would put them as the worst roster here or anything like that. I think that they can contest. Obviously, Group B, I think still quite difficult for them to get through with some giants like Rue Legends and Carbon in there. But I think obviously we've seen from Jokersav not an amazing performance. I think it's fairly safe to say that Boss should win that, assuming they do get knocked down into the lower bracket. If that is going to be the case, I think that we'll see Boss again later on.
I think either of these two teams in the lower bracket are going to flourish.
Yeah.
When it comes to the getting out of the group, then that won't be a problem.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. There's definitely things to consider there, and as you said, if you go up against Jokersav in the lower bracket because you have been knocked down from your upper bracket game, then expectations after this morning's result is that it's hard to come back from a 10-0. There's not that much preparation that you can do. If you're that far behind, genuinely, then you probably can't catch up over the course of 24 hours.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see a rematch of this game to get out
lower
of
bracket final.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does that play out, though? That's going to be tricky. I'm very interested. I think as good as Carbon is, I'm hoping that Boss is ready to step up. I'm ready for them to try and claim that #1 spot for Vietnam and do it by playing well here at CFS 2018. If we take a look at Carbon on the screen, a lot of familiar names, a lot of familiar faces in an entirely different jersey.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these are the same guys, really, that we watched last year have such a great performance for STDX. The exception being, of course, Kai's coming in fairly recently. These guys, they were also second place at CFGI earlier on this year. They did lose that to Pacific Markta, but still in itself quite an impressive result, an impressive finishing for them. And that's the new guy on the team, Kai's. So
the new face.
Hopefully for Carbon in general and for North America even further, he's going to be able to have a good performance. And I think for me, really, who I want to see have a good performance is Famous. I've already mentioned that. He is the man the man to watch, I think, for Carbon.
He's their 7, right? Like, that's the goal. The experience, he's been there for so long. I think it's great that the new player is sitting in up against Famous there. Like, even if he starts getting tilted, if he's having a bad game, you can just turn to him and sort it out.
Yeah, and here's Rek as well. I mean, he was no slouch last year either, so I think, they really did share that sniper roll around. I remember Super also, he was on it every now and then. So, look, I think this lineup change would be an upgrade based on what they had last year. So that's a real concern. If you're everyone else in the tournament, you can't take these guys lightly. But I must say, I don't like their logo.
Don't like it? Wow. BM Sniper.
Just out of nowhere.
Look, feel free to tweet it in about that one. I will be later. But look, they look pretty calm. Relatively confident. And do you think there's pressure there now? So they've gone through 2017. I'm not going to say overperformed, but they exceeded expectations, right?
They're on everyone's radar
now. They've made a roster change that they would say is definitely for the better. That's why they made it, theoretically, right? And then you come in this year. The expectation is surely that you at least try and achieve last year's result, if not better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, up against a powerhouse nation like Vietnam as well, I think that's the real concern.
Jordan, talk us through this Boss lineup. Who's here? Who are we looking out for today?
Well, I mean, I think really all of them are going to have to step up in a group that we don't consider them to be easily going to be able to get out of. When we look across the roster, Ali is going to be the order, the in-game leader, the one that's calling the shots. Lucas on the sniper. So again, especially against who we would then be looking at Kai's on the other side of things as the two snipers. I think both of these two guys are ones that we need to keep an eye on for obviously different reasons. But that sniper matchup always super impactful.
Not so much on this map though. If it is to be the same,
that's true.
You're not really going to see like a sniper v sniper, are you? Because it's really only valuable to the defensive side. You saw how little impact Alijo had with the sniper on the global risk side. So yeah, it's definitely a point of contention when you talk about how these two teams will come up against each other. I feel like this is a really good map for Carbon, if I remember back. But you know, the Vietnamese guys in Boss, who knows? So we haven't seen much of them. I haven't seen them play. But you just look at what we're talking about on the SCDX side. Heavy aimers, good crossfires, a lot of teamwork in the way that they play. So I'm already starting to lean towards Carbon, in fact.
It is definitely difficult not to lean towards Carbon in this scenario. Jordan, for you, what does Boss need to do right here to make this work?
I mean, shut down Kai's to start off with, shut down Famous. I think those two are the key players for me. Again, for different reasons. Kai's because this is his first time playing in CFS Grand Finals. I guess, to be fair, the same can really be said for Boss.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them at the Grand Finals either before. But, you know, obviously there's going to be pressure onto Kai's to perform here for his roster. And if he doesn't, then questions are going to be asked as to why he was put into such a star-studded roster. And the other being obviously Famous. I think he was the one that really carried STDX last year through a lot of difficult situations. And if he can be shut down here by Boss, obviously that's going to put them in a great position.
I mean, honestly, every single person on that SCDX team stood up at some point. If you remember, Superman, if you're talking about shutting down Famous and shutting down Kai's, well, then Superman and Rek will just stand up. And, and that's what was happening for them. And I think, like we talked about, Jordan, that is how you beat a Chinese team. You have 5 guys who stand up and have a great game. No passengers.
Yeah, peak all at the same time and perform together individually. Obviously, it's a bit of an oxymoron, but you get the idea.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those situations where if everyone, you know, can have their day.
Game.
We were talking about before, in a team of champions, you don't necessarily have to perform if everyone else can carry for you. But then the same situation, you have a team of very strong players. The way to beat the best in the world is for everyone to show up.
Yeah, and honestly, you just got to lean on each other. If you are so good, then that should be possible. No one needs to go out, you know, John Wick style and do it all by themselves, you know. And sometimes, you know, when you're struggling against a team that you're supposed to beat, one person will do that. They'll stand up and carry the whole team, be like what Seven did to Kawhi before. But when it comes to a team on your level, you need the whole team there. You can't just rely on one guy. And that's where I think that's where the rest of the guys for Flipside really stood up and helped Seven get across the line, like Blame. So for me, if Boss want to have a chance in this one, it's going to have to be a full team effort, because STDX right now are in a position where they're the old hats, the old hands, and they've done this all before. And you know, they're not even going to be nervous or sweating or blowing the sweat off anything.
Cleaning the mouse, nothing.
They won't need to.
No mum spaghetti, anything
no
like that.
You saw them; they all look pretty calm.
Yeah, they did.
So look, a lot of pressure on the Vietnamese squad right here. They need to salvage some pride after Everteam's game.
Well, it's their opportunity to do so. Jordan, what is your prediction heading into this match?
Unfortunately for Boss, I don't think that this is going to be much of a pride salvager for them. I do think that Carbon should be able to get the better of them fairly comfortably. In my mind, Carbon is the team with the experience, with the caliber, with the individuals.
Yep.
That should be able to knock over Boss here. I think it should be a fairly comfortable win. You know, I don't think it's going to be particularly close. I'd say, you know, somewhere like 10-6 or something like that.
Yeah, look, I would agree with that. Probably, I don't want to say it will be a close game, but I think it will be a comfortable win. Carbon won't be a complete flogging though.
So you're not willing to
take one
to
for
bet
the
on
team
again?
Not
willing to bet on the underdog this time around.
This is a bit of a different story, but I mean, I just don't know enough about Boss to be able to put my finger on them and say they'll cause an upset. Plus, we've got Kyle sitting backstage with John waiting for this game, and
he's a
little bit biased towards the Carbon guys.
He is maybe a little bit North American biased.
He's
in this
told me a lot of good
scenario.
things. Told me a lot of good things about SCDX, so definitely ones to watch. I did not hear him say anything about Boss.
No, he did talk a lot about Carbon. And,
yeah, why is that, I wonder?
He's a big fan.
Big fan.
Yeah. So I agree, though. I agree. It is hard to get off the Carbon. I'm not going to say it's a hype train, but
it's the famous train.
It is the famous train. Look at him. This guy is super happy, super chill.
Came across to China, played in the Chinese CROSSFIRE leagues, got good, as they say.
Yep.
And then went back to North America and made a team.
Easy. Just that simple.
It's just that simple. You know what? Everyone should do it.
And then last year, they came so close. And to be honest, I think
they tasted it.
I think they should be, can be, will feel good about last year. You can. It's hard, right? Because you go away and you say, look, exactly right. They did so well in 2017, but know that they were how close.
Well, I mean, not only that, but also at CFGI, you know, that was like their best chance to get a tournament win. All the Chinese teams were knocked out. Everyone was saying it's Pacific Marker, it's Carbon in the final. Finally, we have someone that's not a Chinese team to be a victor, and then bam, you don't even win that one.
Yeah,
Pacific Marker wins that.
That was the one, right?
So
that was the one.
Every time they seem to get really, really close and not quite be able to finish it off, not be able to finish the job. It's difficult coming from the North American region when you look at the kind of practice that they would get there compared to, for example, the Chinese teams tend to get. But that said, I mean, Carbon, you know, maybe third time's the charm. Maybe this is their year to potentially step up and take the trophy. It's a long journey ahead for Carbon. I don't think I'd put them within my top 4 of the most likely to take the win here, but certainly within, you know, the next few after that, I think they're very, very close by.
Well, in terms of groups, right, it's so you say, sure, they haven't got Group A, but they don't have Group C, and they're not Group D. So, you know, you take what you can get, to be perfectly honest. And there's definitely a situation that I can foresee where Carbon playing as they should, playing like we saw them play last year, come out of Group B as the top in their group. They go head-to-head with RU Legends.
Got to beat RU Legends.
If you want to win CFS 2018,
beat everyone.
You should be able to beat RU Legends.
Yeah.
In the same way that for RU Legends, if they want to win this year, they need to take on whoever they come up against in their upper bracket final and beat them convincingly.
Yep.
So that is the path to victory.
I reckon what we could see even is a team that's better at beating the Chinese and a team that's better at beating everyone who isn't Chinese. And in that situation, you could get a situation where maybe RU Legends takes down Super Valiant, and then they come up against Carbon, and Carbon take down RU Legends, but they would never have been able to take down Super Valiant.
Well, that's it, right? It's a little bit rock, paper, scissors sometime. And obviously different play styles
Luck
from
of the
different
draw.
regions.
Yep.
So, I guess...
Boss have already subbed somebody out.
Yeah.
Waiting a little bit longer to jump into this game. I'm sure we'll be into things very, very shortly, however. Yeah, for me, it's... I want to see Boss step up, though. My expectation is the same as yours, that Carbon coming through from last year, that core 4, a good roster change.
Yep.
This is their year to at least achieve. They should be making the quarters at a minimum, right? So, yeah, for me, great start, but...
Very long-winded way to say STDX.
Yeah, yeah.
You got a few new players on that Boss roster as well, with Lucas and Kale coming in, and ever since then, it does seem like Boss has had a bit of a resurgence. So from when we last saw them, Ben, in Manila.
Look, to be fair, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Yeah, that's like more than 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And they looked okay. They didn't look like world beaters. They didn't look like a team that was going to come to CFS and pick up a win or get particularly close to picking up the win. But I think, maybe with these couple of new players being able to have some strong results recently domestically is definitely a good sign for them. But we talk about domestic results with a grain of salt when it comes to a tournament like this. All the time we're expecting to see, a team that's strong in their region then have to kind of step up and do something a little bit better when they come to an international tournament like this. Obviously, there's a higher caliber of competition that you have to play with and you have to deal with. So, look, it's been good news for Boss so far.
Yeah, it has.
In what we've seen, but I think this is the next step, and I don't know that they're ready to take it yet.
Look, I'm gonna sit on the other side of this fence, Jordan. I think Boss have made a couple of changes in recent times. I think we can't put too much into what we've seen too far back into the past.
Wait, so you're changing your prediction?
I'm not changing my prediction.
Oh, okay.
I'm suggesting that there's a world where maybe they don't win this game, but if they go up against a team like Carbon again in the lower bracket final, I think there's a world where Boss come through as number 2 in this group.
Yeah, look, I think that's a good potential of happening. Whoever goes up against the loser of this game again for the second time, if it isn't RU Legends, there's still a chance. If Carbon was to go through this game, take down RU Legends, and then come up, that's that done. If they come out on top, then RU Legends goes up against Boss, and then we have a whole different scenario.
Yeah, and Boss have been having success domestically in Vietnam as well. So when you put that up, we talked up Ava team.
And and how good your region needs to be for you to flourish.
Yeah,
well then,
correct.
there's every opportunity for Boss to be that good.
So look, this is their time. They've made it through. We talked about how we haven't seen them at CFS finals recently. This is their year potentially, and to come out and say we can win games domestically in Vietnam. Now we're on the world stage. We can take it to the best.
I mean, there's always a chance. Like, it's every single team, we've said already before, every single team that's at this tournament at this point in time has a potential to win it. Regardless if you're JKSAV and you got 0-10 in your first game, you still have the pathway that you can take to get all the way through the grand final. While it's unlikely, of course, anything can happen. And, you know, we definitely can't count out BOSS. I think the percentage chance of them being able to pick up the win is maybe even less than 10 or 5%.
Are you no
to win the entire tournament.
Oh, right, yes.
But this match, I would say I think I'd probably put it on like 70-30, 75-25.
I wouldn't even go that far. I'd say probably, 55-45?
Yeah. I'm like 60-40 in favor of Carbon. I think that this BOSS team can turn up.
Best of one.
Yeah.
Don't get to pick your own map. Anything can happen.
Yeah. And when they get this, you're going to be, eating your words, Jordan. If they come out, BOSS comes out on top.
Power to BOSS then.
Yeah.
More power to BOSS.
He's already eaten his words for the Kawhi game, so how much can he eat? That's the question.
I'm pretty hungry, actually, at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
Everything that goes in, it just disappears. I don't even know what you do with it, Jordan, but it's must exercise a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what
Not
I
what
do.
happens. Not what happens at all.
Unfortunate genes.
I almost want to change my prediction now that I've had time to digest it.
Look,
now
Ben,
that
you
we've
do
been
what
waiting,
you want, mate.
I'm ready to be the Ian. I'm changing my prediction. I'm
ready
changing.
to get your prediction wrong.
It's gonna be BOSS.
What happened last? Did I get the last game wrong?
Yeah, well, what happened the game before?
Well, to be
that?
fair, we both got the last one right. This is BOSS 10-7. What I'm
10
saying.
and 7.
Yeah,
Oof, we're going score predictions.
yeah.
now.
That's I'm throwing it out there.
I'm Carbon 10-6.
All right, so I'm gonna write down. So I'm gonna 10-7 is Ben.
I'm still gonna say 10-5 to Carbon, but it's still 55-45. It's I could be
To
wrong.
me, like a 55-45, it's like a 10-8.
Yeah.
Or an overtime.
Well, I mean,
maybe a 50-50 would be then overtime, I guess.
yeah, 50-50 would be anyone can win, which is
Well,
kind of
anyone
what
can win.
Well,
is what I'm
that's
saying.
true. But at the same time, it's like I'm not trying to say like the score won't be a blowout, but it's like it just depends on the situation. Depends which team rocks up on the day or has a good game in this one instance.
Yeah.
When they verse each other again later, that's when it will really matter.
Well, I'm interested how these teams match up against a team like RU Legends. We know the winner of this is going head-to-head with them.
Me too. Now that RU Legends are probably having a good old nap until the next game.
That's it, right? How much can you truly prepare? At least, how warm can you really be if you get a 10-0? You barely had to do anything, but you also had the first game of the day.
Took them longer to set up their PCs than it took to play the game.
Yeah, that was very quick.
I didn't even know what they're doing right now.
They weren't challenged at all. Are they out there in the player lounge?
Yeah, I saw
warming
them
up?
downstairs before.
Okay.
They're still here.
It's just a long day.
Absolutely.
I feel like at that point, I might even want to go back to the hotel and just sort of chill out a little bit, watch the games.
Too much risk involved because you go back to the hotel, you get lost, and then
You get lost.
traffic and stuff like that.
You have a nap, accidentally fall asleep.
Fall asleep.
You wouldn't want to do that. I don't think you want to do that. I would rather be playing this game now.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then playing tonight, than playing first thing
For
in the
sure.
morning and then playing later.
No, I mean, every single team had to be here in the morning anyway.
No,
so.
I understand. I would rather have that game that I've just come off a victory on, a couple of hours before than having my victory in the morning and then waiting all day. It's the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
And you can't control it, but it's going to be better for some teams than others.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. If
We're all in
Carbon
agreement.
Yeah. If Carbon comes through, maybe that RU Legends game's super close. If BOSS comes through...
I think RU and Carbon would be fairly close.
Yeah.
I mean, RU Legends, they looked good this morning, but we don't know. We can't really get a great gauge of how well they performed.
Can't at all, right?
JKSAV coming into that were always considered a bit of an underdog, or quite a big underdog, really, when you think about it. Like, we've never seen them before on the global stage. So, yeah, I mean, in hindsight, you can kind of be like, yeah, that's a pretty expected result. Doesn't give us a great insight as to how RU Legends did perform. 10-0, yeah, it's good, but how good really is JKSAV? We need to see matches against Carbon.
There's a guy backstage who would say the grand final could be RU Legends versus Carbon.
Name Kyle.
Yeah. So
grand final.
We're talking to you, Kyle. Kyle will be coming up next. He'll be
Yep.
in here with Blue, and they'll be taking us through the rest of the day as well, including the upper bracket final for Group A and Group B. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Have a chance to chat through some maybe
Yeah,
the
and he'll
games that
have
we
all
saw.
the inside knowledge.
He does have a lot of inside knowledge, being deep within the scene as he is.
Deep.
Yeah. Apparently Kawhi was boot camping quite a lot in Flipside.
Didn't help.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Well, maybe it did help, but it just didn't get the result that they wanted.
Yeah, perhaps.
You can't always.
They did look better. They did look better.
You can
to be
prepare
honest.
and you can play your best, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
but
lived that life?
They were Kawhi were definitely the better team at the start of that game. Flipside just warmed up into it and then overcame adversity.
Benefits. You've talked about this a lot as well when you're talking about which side do you want to play first. Do you want to play the favoured side first, or do you want to play the non-favoured side first? And how do you warm up into a game? Would you prefer to
I would always want to play the non-favoured side first.
Yeah.
Just because it's less important if you have less impact on that side. If you warm up and you really hit your stride towards the end of the non-favoured side, you get on that favoured side, you're hitting your stride.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone.
Which
will
is
put you
exactly what Flipside did, right?
Yep.
They came in, they had a really quite a slow
really
start.
rough start. Yeah.
And look, as long as you have that inner confidence to go, hang on, we know what we're doing here.
There's a point. There's always a point in a match where you're like, oh, we're the better team, and then you start to play like that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get into the action. Carbon from North America, Boss from Vietnam. This is going to be a tough one. The boys say it's Carbon. I say it's Boss. Let's see how it goes.
Let's see indeed, Ben. I am excited for this one. I am quite keen to see how Carbon is going to go. I think they're definitely a fairly strong contender in this tournament, and based on last year's results, they be able to go fairly deep in this one. But starting off against Boss, I see a good performance from Carbon. Hoping that they're going to get a pretty solid win here, but let's see how it plays out. Starting on the defensive side.
I honestly think this will be a Carbon map just because of the way that it plays out. But we'll see. We'll see. In due time, won't we, Jordan? And then we'll be able to say who was right and who was wrong.
Indeed.
It's pretty likely that Ben will be wrong as usual, but that's okay. Shady now getting a bit of action over in that alleyway towards the A site. We didn't see anything happen on that part of the map last map.
It's a much different setup from both sides already. Shady having a look in toward the A site right now. There's action all over the place, and Boss do seem to be coming out with a disadvantage. Their HP pool very low indeed. Lucas the only one untouched, where Carbon have got 3 players full HP at the moment.
At that timing.
And also the positioning as well from Carbon on the defense. Look at how aggressive they are. Superman is in middle, and he's found Shady. He'll get traded out at the least, but Famous is there for the trade himself, and Carbon just controlling the map at the moment. Lucas has managed to find a flank and gets wreck. Quite a bit of damage done. Carbon, not ideal.
Boss have definitely clawed this one back, haven't they?
Yeah.
Ali now finds himself in the alley towards the A site. Famous repositioning himself, might get caught off guard here. Just the timing is all that matters. Oh, did he hear that? Did he hear the drop down from Ali? That's the question. I think he did. That's why he's poised here waiting. A minute left on the clock. B bomb site, they know is completely open. So Ali needs to get that C4 across. Lucas holding the rotation. Famous won't be aware of what's going on yet, I don't believe. Michael's still over towards that A site, just sitting pretty. Lucas like, opting for an outrageous position. When that bomb does eventually get planted. Oh no, what? Oh, they spot Michael crossing the doors. Wow, what an excellent round this has been so far for Boss. What a comeback. 2 versus 4.
Not a great early sign for Carbon, that is for sure.
Yeah. Now we know how hard this site is to retake.
Well, we know what kind of a superstar Famous is. Maybe he can make this happen. He's only got 14 HP, but if he can find the frags, it doesn't really matter how much health you have.
You'll know very much so that Ali will be behind some of these boxes, looking through at least one of the cracks. So he's going to bait the peek out from him. He's waiting for it. Nothing he could do about that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And, well, look, just the first round of the game. No big deal.
Pretty good timing out from the peak there for Boss as well. It's like a fairly solid round in the end. That said, I mean, Carbon definitely did start off with the advantage, but...
Well, it looked like Carbon wanted to take it to a scrap fight, and then Boss was not willing to go down to their level and fell back, regrouped, and Carbon was stuck in these positions where they couldn't really do a whole lot. So this round, Carbon have opted to play a different game. Going for a 2-1-2 setup. Middle completely open. The crossfire wreaking havoc for Carbon, taking down all of Boss.
Superman getting 3 kills in that as well. Michael will hold on to the A site. That's a much better round from Carbon.
Yeah.
Fairly reminiscent of the last in that they do start off well. This time at least they were able to finish the job.
Yeah. I think they just needed to give a little bit more respect to Boss, but not too much. And there you go. So nice and easy round there for Carbon. Once everything hit the fan, then they were ready to go.
If that last map was anything to go by, Carbon are going to be looking for quite a few more rounds here than what Boss are going to be able to get in the first half.
Yep.
You know, look towards 6 or 7 as your goal. So 1 for 1 for Boss I don't think is too concerning just yet.
It's like Boss are just preemptively waiting for this attack out from Carbon on the A alleyway. So interesting to see that Carbon have already adapted to this. Flash is going to come over. Smokes into the A site. C4 ready to go as well. No one on the flank for Carbon. Crossfire established over middle. No actual box hall control there for Carbon. So a bit of a risk. You can see the setup here on the A site. Good crossfire between the forklift and the green crates. If you remember, I think it was actually, Carbon who used to just rely on that forklift so much. Here comes the execute from Boss. A little bit telegraphed. Still got 4 players heavy towards the A site. They got faked out. Could be a double pump here from Boss.
No one being spotted there by Lucas just yet. I'm starting to run low for Boss at the moment. Guys will miss the shot.
He's yet to really show us what he's made of yet.
Yeah, exactly. 2-1, not a bad start, that's for sure. Superman was the champion of the last round this time, though. Won't be having any impact. Ali, that's 2 on the spray down.
Damn.
Wreck will fall. Famous chiming in with one of his own. Needs to get a few more here. Needs to spin around and survive as well. Michael trying to back him up, spamming through the doors. Carbon hosting a defense. Guys is chiming in there as well, but he'll be knocked over.
HP very low for Michael, asking a lot of him.
Oh, he's found the first.
He's got the
Bombs
C4.
10 seconds in, but doesn't manage to survive.
How much more of this can Carbon take? These close rounds where they seem to be in the lead and then they fall away. Ali with the 2 entry frags, they're very good. Getting a lot of work done for the team. See the difference in the setup here. Carbon just going for that crossfire over middle, but this time they're going to take box halls. And
similar setup again from Carbon.
Yeah. I think for Carbon, the battle of attrition just isn't going their way right now. Guys with that sniper on the defense, not having much impact. Interesting to see Rita with the M4 as well. Going for a bit more of a spray. Waiting for this smoke to dissipate for the double stack here. Catch Wreck off guard. Superman very close on the rotate though. So this will be very difficult for Boss if they are to commit to the A site.
Oh man, I feel like that's exactly what they're going to do at this point. Though C4 is wrapping back in toward the spawn of Boss, so not really giving away their intentions. Definitely playing quite passively on the attacking side just to start things off, but once the explosion occurs, that's where things really change up and Boss, I don't know, hit the bomb site pretty hard.
It's these smoke grenades just delaying Boss from executing, but here it comes.
Well, Shady on the split, in toward middle goes Lucas, but Superman shuts him down. Spam away through from the smoke on both sides at the moment. Carbon still relatively untouched at this point. Eventually Shady goes down as well. Definitely a better start to the round here for Carbon. It might just be the end of the round as well for Boss, as it puts it into a 3v5.
Well, they've aborted their execute onto the A site, but like you said, the numbers are against them now.
They got no map control at all for all of that effort. They really come out of it with absolutely nothing.
Although that B site is open, the underpass still only being watched by Kais. Which, I mean, I say only, but it is the sniper barreling down. And he's unzoomed just as they've walked around the corner. Misses a crucial shot.
Not going to cost too much by the looks of things, as the trades are pretty good for Carbon. Kai's still not fully warmed up into this match. All's well that ends well for Carbon, though, as they secure their second round. Quite a slow round out from Boss, that one.
Yeah, well, every time they tried to commit, Carbon were ready for it. Boss's playstyle seems to be very slow, a lot of fakes, and very, the map control, it's either there or it's not. Boss were happy not to get any control of the map last round before executing, and you can see the price they paid. And now you're going to see the same again from Boss. The counter smokes coming out from Carbon are really good at this point.
Shady missing a few shots there, but Rita will bail him out of trouble. Ali as well, chiming in with one. Look at this. Boss have made their way into the bomb site with no real problems at all. Carbon have a couple of players on the flank trying to make their way in. It's Kais and Famous to try and make it work. Famous with a very strong position here. All three players stuck on the side itself, so this is definitely doable right now for Carbon. Kais has set himself up on the long angle, looking in from middle. There's not many post-plant positions that Boss can actually get into, but now with Famous down, seems impossible, and it is. 3 up for Boss.
Yeah, and from what we've seen as well, the attacking side definitely has a bit of a tough time. So Carbon really need to get their act together, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Start posting some numbers up on the board. Again, going for that box hole control again. Lots of attention towards the A site. Nice grenade. Really takes down KL quite well. 70 HP remains. Carbon just need to be steady, patient right now. Boss need to find an in. Need to find out, are Carbon playing close here? Can we sneak out towards the B site? Where is that sniper? Is it trained on middle? Famous though, all on his own towards mid. While Kais is up in the box room. Here it comes, a 3-man push into unders.
Well, what can Famous do about it? He's the one that will have to take the contact here.
No one is here to crossfire with him quite quickly, so interesting to see how this turns out. Lucas behind the box. Famous happy to allow that to happen.
Boss very, very slow. Trying to force Carbon into a mistake at the moment. Carbon quite content to hold their sights. Rotate coming across from Superman. This might be the undoing. In the end, though, Famous will keep Superman alive. Lucas deciding not to peek.
Lucas actually got spammed through the box a little bit there.
Yeah.
Didn't go down.
Any damage is good damage for Carbon, but they've also read the situation well in that they've rotated that extra player over towards A. And then toward B now, though, goes Boss as they charge on through middle. Kai's already down. B-bomb site starting to be pressured by Boss, and there's absolutely nothing that Carbon can do about it. Famous and Superman haven't managed to hold on to middle. And the B side is completely in the favor of Boss right now.
Famous did his best after rotating through that back alley. Wasn't able to hold them off, so bomb should go down on B very shortly. Reader's in a great spot here to stop any rotations.
Ali somehow has killed himself. Michael, what a kill in the meanwhile as well, and it's back to a 2v2. Where's the bomb? Where's the plan? Where's the wreck? He's managed to get 2 kills. That round just fell apart for Boss. I have no idea what happened.
I think Famous killed the bomb and it might have got stuck between some boxes or something. Pretty interesting times. Looks like we're probably going to have a tech pause even.
Yeah, Boss.
Because that would explain why the bomb didn't go down then if it was frozen on somebody. But interesting that... well, that's a huge round for Carbon, so I don't know what happens in this situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's something that the admins are going to have a chat about. Did seem very weird the way that sort of played out.
Super weird. It wasn't a round that really Carbon deserved to win.
No.
I'd definitely say that Boss were happily into that B bomb site, ready to plant the bomb. They even killed Famous quite easily, and then it was all up to Michael. He said Ali killed himself. Well, maybe he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would have.
I have no idea. It just on the kill feed he died, so that was my assumption. Looks like we're back in again at 3 apiece, so...
Yeah, well, a bit of time wasted on the clock here, so Boss will have to make do with it. Good amount of control for both teams at the moment. Kai's in their box holes with the sniper, the Orm.
Only 30 damage per round so far from Kai's.
Not good enough, really, is it?
Has been struggling to get involved.
But it's a tough map to snipe on, that's the thing. And especially the way Boss have been playing with their utility usage.
Yep.
Smokes have been coming in thick and fast from both teams. Boss very slow on the attack. Oh, Famous with a nice one-tap onto Ali.
Yeah, definitely what Carbon was looking for. A lot of the time they've suffered the first loss, but this time they have the advantage. Boss are going to explode out toward middle as a result, but the smokes are there for Carbon that... I mean, obviously it gives Boss control of the mid area, but Carbon quite happy in their sights, and Famous Gets rid of Lucas, flanking around the back. Boss not prepared for it. Famous such a star player for this Carbon roster, and this is exactly why. Back toward B now is Boss. Famous is still wrapping behind him, and a 1-for-1 for Kai's, not too bad. Back up through the underpass goes Famous. 2v4 for control of the bomb site here for Boss.
Well, the retake's coming in very quickly, but maybe too quickly. They can't trade out. And that'll be Rek going down.
Famous again chiming in with another. That's his third kill for the round. Kale eventually will drop him, but Michael and Superman should be enough to finish it off. And Superman doing his best Superman impression.
Yep.
Flying through the air.
Straight over the top. So Carvin hanging in there, to be honest. Not really going above and beyond, but just hanging in there. They do have the lead now. Boss can't afford to get rattled after having such a great start. Very heavy mid presence for Carbon. Just sitting back, maybe considering a double man push to the underpass. We did see that a little bit towards the later stages of the tournament last year, where the offense became the defense. And we're going to see that again here by the looks of it.
Ooh, well.
Well, Famous doesn't time his peak well enough and gets punished. Kai's also not really having any impact.
Kai's almost goes down with him.
Yep.
So middle, or the underpass area, the defense there from Carbon is going to be looking a little bit weaker now that Famous is dead.
Yeah, and we're going to need to see something out of the rest of the boys from Carbon as they do push on through the A alley.
Will result in 1 kill, back to 4v4. Carbon happy with that, but still does mean that Boss have the opportunity to enter one of these sites 4v1 if possible. Superman somehow has managed to get 2 kills. Lucas and Kale going down.
Oh!
And Kai's hits a nice shot as well. It is just Ali left, and Superman easily able to clean that one up.
Very nicely done there by Carbon, dealing with Boss. After Boss get that entry frag.
5-3.
Yep.
Now for Carbon. 1 more round in this half. 6-3 was what Flipside had to deal with last time, and that was enough for them. 3 rounds on attack.
Yep.
Well, if Boss gets any more here, I think Carbon still need to be a bit worried.
Oh, definitely. Carbon very heavy importance on trying to read the play, trying to stack the web. Oh, jeez. Stack the bomb site preemptively. And Kai's, again, had a couple of good shots in that last round. Not so much throughout the whole game. So a bit of consistency from him is what Carbon are going to need. It'll be interesting to see if he does pick up that sniper on the offensive side of Global Risk. And they cross over after this. But again, look at these smokes coming out from Carbon, just delaying that Boss push. Still do have Kai's in this box halls, and he's been here a couple of times. So Boss know all about this. They're going to preemptively smoke it and flash it before taking it. Kai's goes for that timing shot. Oh, misses his grenade.
Cost him all of 8 HP, so not a big deal, really.
Yep.
Rek spamming away in toward middle. It's actually going to be the end of Famous. Kai's as well going down. B-bomb site. Going to be the option of choice here by Boss for sure. Still taking the challenge in toward middle. Ali gets Rek. No reason not to plant the bomb at this point, though, for Boss. Just Michael in a 1v4.
Yeah,
very tough ask for him.
That B-bomb site's just been far too weak for Carbon, and Boss have figured it out. Better late than never. They're going to get their 4th round here on the back of this. I don't think Michael's in with the chance, Jordan, but you know how it is. He would have been spotted here through the gap in the crate.
Wouldn't have thought Treek was in with a chance at the start of today, but he got the 1v4. Fortunately for Michael, it's going to go the other way, the expected way. Not too bad, I think, from Boss there. 4 rounds, pretty happy with that. I feel like Carbon has had more opportunities than Boss have, but Boss have taken the opportunities.
Absolutely.
And ran with them.
Some of these shots here were just phenomenal as well, especially the Superman retake. Yeah. But I think where Boss got in early, you see, and they won a few rounds when perhaps Carbon were napping. I think that's going to be the difference here. Boss looking very good. Carbon, remember, they won that round off the back of a PC issue, perhaps. So,
true.
Any gift is a lifeline for them at the moment. I can't see any of the Carbon players on camera to gauge how they might be feeling. There you go, Kai's with the sniper.
Yeah, still running with it. Spamming away, you can hear in toward the A site, but not connecting anything, obviously. A lot of presence aggressively right now from Boss. Full control in middle.
Really giving them a bit of their own medicine. If you remember, Carbon did this the first round to Boss as well, but Boss was able to come back and take it.
Yep.
Not giving up this territory though, Boss. They are sitting pretty. Putting a lot of pressure on Carbon here to clear out these corners, and they're being very hesitant. The timing though, who knows? Ooh, Lucas drops down. Not sure the status of the A bomb site, you see, because Boss understand they've left that open. If Carbon were already there, a crucial firefight happening here between Lucas and Michael.
Nothing coming of it, apart from Michael being tagged up quite heavily.
Yep.
Still alive, still a gun in the game, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. We saw how much damage Famous was able to do with only, 10% HP in one of the earlier rounds.
Okay, so the attack now forming up for Carbon as they approach the entrance to the box halls. There's still 50 seconds left on the clock, and they don't even have this middle box hall area. Boss still have the 3 players there, or thereabouts. Lucas and Kale, a chance now to step up. Nice flash. Oh, Kais opens up the round. Here comes another flash push from Boss. Can they punish them? Michael falls, Kais falls.
Everyone falls at this point for Carbon. Kale with 2. And it is now just wreck. He'll also drop. Not enough done there by Carbon. Boss starting to get control of this match. They bring it back to 5 apiece. Still anyone's game, but feels like Boss is the one taking advantage of the mistakes of Carbon. More often than the opposite.
Oh, grenade to the noggin there for Famous. Going to lose 40 damage. Again, the Carbon being very slow here. I can understand the need to be slow. It's so important to win these rounds. See, they're too sort of afraid to get in and take that box hall without Michael in the alleyway to back them up. So another under push, but I think somehow Boss have just read this perfectly. They're rotating out of the box hall now. 1:35 left on the clock. It's outrageous. I can't believe it. They've just switched on a dime.
Oh, look at this. A bit of a confrontation now, and there's a lot of players. So many frags coming out for Carbon, and it's Famous that gets 2. Much more favorable for Carbon than for Boss, and to be honest, I think that could have really gone either way.
It's just insane. I mean, firstly, Boss with an absolute magnificent read on Carbon, and then just a total collapse at the same time.
Yeah.
The best of both worlds.
6-5, Carbon with the advantage. Another close match by the looks of things ahead for us here.
Yep.
The last have been 10-8, 10-7. So certainly heading that way as well.
Looks like Carbon's still in a bit of a discussion on what they want to do this round. I like it.
Yeah, slow things down a bit.
Yeah, slow things down. Smoke off the box halls. Gauge the reaction from Boss. See what happens. And Kai's opts not to throw the smoke yet. Here it comes. The smokes alone are going to scare Boss off the box hall area. See if we get a repeat of last round. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think Boss think the same thing. They're expecting another under push. Might just be Kai's. Might just be the whole team again. All right, let's see. Deja vu. Comes down to timing, really, doesn't it? We'll see. Rita with that M4 we don't often see.
Oh, well, starts off nicely. Only the one, though. Can Kale get the trades here? Has the opportunity and does indeed. 2-man spray down from Kale. Chiming in was Shady with 1. The Supermen in the 1v4.
Bouncy bounce. 56 seconds. We can hear the Vietnamese communicating frantically. And there you go. That's Boss with
Really?
another round. What do you think, Jordan?
Really seems like it's just a 1-for-1, a 1-for-1, 1-1.
Yeah. Well, not so much to Carbon, though. It doesn't seem like Carbon are winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it's still 6-6.
Yeah.
Right? So they're hanging in there. A lot of utility usage from Boss in toward middle to take control of that area of the map once again. Nothing so much from Carbon just yet.
You can just see everything just coming to fruition. All the positioning for Boss getting into position. Now Carbon going again for this under push. Maybe third time is a charm. You need to see what the other players are doing though as well when it comes to Superman and Michael on the other side of the map. Are they able to cause a distraction here that's going to allow them to get up past Rita? Will Rita check middle and walk into the aim of Kai's? 20 on the clock, ready to go. So much left to play for in this round. Beautiful pick from Rek, and now they're going to get out of dodge.
Yeah, that's very cheeky and nice from Carbon as well to just back away.
Yeah,
it's going to put the doubt in the mind of Boss. They've got absolutely no idea what Carbon is going to do from here.
They might even come and check it and just make sure and see, you know, if there's anyone actually playing in there.
This will be a replay.
Oh, made it look a little bit too easy.
Certainly did.
Now, the double pump hasn't really worked out for Carbon. Boss have come in and checked middle.
They lost a player for it.
They've lost a player. They haven't had to overcommit. They still don't have the box halls. Oh, no,
Ooh.
You're joking me. It just gets better and better for Carbon. They've dictated the play this round.
Yeah, Carbon setting the trap, and Boss certainly have fallen into it.
Shady.
Gets 2. But 2 is not enough. Needs 5. Another one. Another as well.
2's not enough.
4 is not enough either. You need the 5.
Well,
it's all for naught if he doesn't kill Rek here, but
he has the C4.
He's given himself a chance, and now it's anybody's game. So much pressure onto Rek. Gets spotted out as well by Shady, who will back away. Knows that the bomb plan is going to be going down. Changing up his position. Now it is Shady's round to win. As he finds the positioning, gets the reload off as well, but his position is known. Both players neither seem keen, but it's going to be Boss to come away with it. That was a 1v5.
Unbelievable. He can't believe it himself. Yeah, look, the team can't believe it. Bit of a choke there from Rek. You saw him change his gun in the middle of the firefight, and he'll be a bit disappointed with that.
What on earth was that?
Well, that's what you need when you come up against a top team like Carbon, and you're a top team in yourself in Boss. You've got to be able to convert those rounds. You need a player who can do that. And it'll be up to Carbon now to just say, yeah, look, forget about that. We made one mistake. Because that could actually be the undoing of the entire game.
Yeah, I don't know if you can come back from that.
Oh.
Shady. 7-1 now in the half.
That round, every single thing went the way of Carbon.
Yep.
Until Shady came along.
Well, running through smokes, trying to trade a player out. Not necessarily the ideal scenario. And that is evidenced by
It's a textbook way to lose a 1v4.
Yeah.
1v5.
Rita already down in this round, but it's a trade. 1-for-1. Carbon headed towards the B site. Lucas will pose a threat, but Superman has managed to get across. Still more to deal with, though, and Kale won't pose much of a challenge for Carbon, who are looking to respond straight away in this round.
Bit of a switch up as well, you can notice from Carbon in the speed of their play. Definitely catching Boss off guard. 4 players alive now against 2. Let's see if they can mess this up.
Shady's still alive, the danger man.
Yeah.
Amos has a pretty tight angle to have a look at here. Information gathering angle. The grenade won't do too
Dodges
much,
it
anything at
perfectly.
all, actually. Time is really running out for Boss here. If they were going to make an attempt at retaking this bomb site, they would be doing it now. And Shady will get pop flashed in there by his team, but Superman survives, and Michael will get the frag. Easy done by Carbon.
Really nice flashbang, just unfortunate execution there. Boss unable to get the retake. So here we go. You got your wish, 7-7.
Mm-hmm.
And now Carbon need to ask a question of what else can they do? They've tried their underpass trick. They haven't done much in the way of an A execute. I think that's probably what they're going to go for here on this round. When you do look at the map overview, that's what that would indicate. Boss ready with 3 players outside the A site. That'll be a very fast retake. Shady just in A all by himself. And, well, this is one we saw quite often last year. 3-man out the alley with flashes coming in from over the top. Shady can't do anything here.
Yeah, very quick into the side is Carbon, and it's worked out nicely indeed. 2 for 1. Turning into a 3 for 1 now as well. An attempt from Boss to actually get back in. It hasn't worked out at all.
Wow.
Just trying to catch the timing maybe of Carbon as they plant the bomb just as they think they're safe, but Carbon well aware of that trick, and it's 8-7 now for Carbon. Again, taking the lead.
It's this fast strategy that's really catching Boss off guard. See if we can do it again. Kays.
Oh, that's perfect from Kais. The trade not there from Boss either. Kale doing a good job, but not good enough. Famous eventually trades out effectively there for Carbon. It's an ear thing though. Look at how low Famous is.
I know, that re-peak from Kais is actually what almost undid it all, isn't it really? I mean, 3 for 2? 3 for 2?
3 for 2, yep.
That's fine, but it actually could have been 3 for 1 if Kays just waited a little bit longer. Overcorrected when he had to peak, and they both fought the same player. 3 versus 2. Famous very low on health. Will take the point, or will he take the rear? That's the question. A bit of the old... this is our battleground. That's
nice
Famous
shot from
down.
Ali, but...
Be interesting. Did Ali see any others there?
I don't think so, and Famous was the low HP player, so if you were going to lose one...
I think maybe he would be on his own, but at the same time, Ali has a feeling. Ali and Shady playing together now. I do like the look of this.
Must definitely have the right idea, but are they gambling on the right site? Doesn't look like it at the moment. The bomb could easily make its way into B, and Michael could deny the rotation from middle there. Won't be the case, though, as Carbon will join forces. Seems as though they're back toward the A site now.
Right into the trap they fall. 2 on 2.
It's a crossfire setup on the side as well for Boss.
Yeah.
They should have no problems here at all.
This will definitely favour Boss.
Well, the timing not good at all for Boss, though, as they were almost pulled for the rotate. Just out in no man's land.
Commentator's curse there.
They weren't comfortable sitting in their positions.
Yep. They gave it up just at the last second there, and bang, Carbon strike while the iron is hot. 1 round away now from a fire in the hole, smoke 'em off challenge.
It's the same setup again for Carbon.
Oh.
Hoping the Boss is going to walk straight into them once more, but it's not the case this time.
It's worked more often than it hasn't. I've only lost the 1 round doing this 3-man push. Now, Boss know better than to mess with it. Reader's even changed position so that he can't be picked off over the box.
The smoke going to allow Carbon to progress forward, though. Rek hiding right behind the box.
Wow, this is a lot better by Boss. There's no reason for them to push down middle like they were before. This crossfire will be absolutely devastating for Carbon if done correctly.
Not just a 2-man crossfire, but even a third sort of hanging around there for Boss as well. So against those kinds of odds, I wouldn't be particularly keen. Kale, I don't think has spotted Rek out there, though there may have been a foot. Well, certainly has an idea now. Famous goes down, and that means that Rek is going to drop as well, and Kais tries to escape. He's a mouse caught in a trap.
That's all she wrote for this round.
Nothing that he can do. That's a great shot from Shady as well. Huge flick.
Right in the head too.
Michael's thinking, what on earth has happened to my team?
Now Michael's summoning all of his strength to see if he can do a Shady. Lucas yet to get a kill this half, Jordan. Being a bit of a passenger.
Yeah, that's potentially part of the reason the Boss hasn't actually been able to win this game already. I mean, if he was stepping up and going 6 apiece, maybe they'd be done already. But 9-8 is where we're at, and now 1 away for Boss to making this one overtime, or Carbon picking up the win.
Well, interesting to see what Carbon do. The 3-man under, not going to work anymore. They're going to go back to the old faithful A execute. Just Shady in there behind the forklift if they're quick. You got the 3-man unders push, maybe 4. Rek will go down, he will call it, and here comes the fast execute now.
That's exactly what Carbon needs to be doing. Famous getting rid of Ali. 1 for 1 at the moment. Favorable enough for Carbon because they have control of the site, but they need to clear forklift, and they're unable to do it at the moment. It's a 3v2. Eventually, Carbon come out ahead. Rita and Kale to try and salvage this one for Boss. Bomb not yet down though, so time still playing in the favor of Boss for the moment, but that's very quickly going to change.
Kale's gone around on the flank. Very difficult to deal with Kale from inside the site.
Superman has a good position, so too does Kai, as we saw how long it took Carbon to get rid of the forklift player, but Rita's found Michael.
Oh!
Kale gets Superman, and it's a 1v1 now.
Guys!
It's going to go the way of Carbon. Kai's, the new player in the roster, does get the job done, but a very close affair there between Carbon and Boss.
Wow.
I think really that could have gone either way.
Yeah, absolutely. But they've set themselves up now for a match against Rue Legends. And while Boss can relish in the fact they'll be up against the Legends later on. But what an absolute beautiful game there by Carbon.
Very, very crazy game, that one. Not entirely surprising, I guess, that Carbon gets the victory, but the fashion in which it came.
Look, I'm just going to say there that my prediction was very close to being correct, and I have to feel the Boss maybe going to feel a little bit unlucky in that scenario. They were very close. They had a round that didn't go their way as well. Look,
yeah, exactly right.
For me now, both these teams have that shot at coming out of their group. I think both these teams are capable of being, or at worst, the second team in their group through in this game.
Yeah,
sure.
If they go up against, if Carbon go up against RU Legends and they fail to meet that challenge, then have to come back down potentially against this Boss lineup, there is no guarantee that what we just saw there is going to be enough to get them a second
definitely
shot.
not. I think there's a lot for Carbon that they have to go back and have a look at there, because to me that's not the best that we've ever seen from Carbon. You know, if that match was against the same match against Super Valiant last year, Super Valiant probably wins that one 10-0.
Very sloppy stuff from Carbon. I mean, you got to keep in account the fact, like you said, Ben, there was the free round for Carbon where the mistake was made and they didn't get the bomb down. Then you have to go and counter that with the round where Carbon lost the 1v5 to Shady.
That's insane. How often do you see that? Not very often.
Never.
Amazing,
Every now and
amazing
then
plays.
CROSSFIRE,
Amazing plays. And very impressive. For me, the thing to come out of this, obviously Carbon get the win, but Boss, I think, at least exceeding our expectations, perhaps not the greater CROSSFIRE community or the people of Vietnam, I suspect, certainly felt they're up to that challenge. And still a fair bit of hope, I think, in behind Boss to make it out of groups.
I feel like that game was a lot of rock, paper, scissors. It was two conflicting styles going head to head. And I'm not sure, looking at that game, if we are seeing two good teams go neck and neck there. That could just be two teams that aren't up to scratch, scrapping against each other. So until they verse someone else, I'm not going to have a good indication of where they're really at.
Yeah, and even when Carbon goes up against RU Legends, it's tough. When we saw the RU Legends game was a 10-0, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's still not that much you can take away from it.
Yeah,
we're not going to...
RU Legends, they looked great, but
Yeah.
was that RU Legends being great, or was it Jacosav not stepping up to the plate?
And I think to the surprise of probably no one famous coming out with the MVP, they're quite well-deserved, leading his team to victory in the end. And again, not just as the order in this scenario, but also with the fact that he's getting those frags as well. It's one thing to be the leader, it's another to get the kills yourself.
Yeah, I think he was a great part of Carbon's attack. And then when it came to the defense, sure, I don't think he did a whole lot, but for the attack in particular, they really did rally around him. That three-man hitman squad that he was running with Kai's, that was very effective. It only really lost once.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Carbon progresses through to the upper bracket final, and we're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, it's all gamers up against Black Dragon. This is going to be a cracker. We'll see you soon.